not really what I planned to do. But during COVID, I sat down and I was painting quite a bit. And I started posting things online on Instagram. And then from there, I started getting requests for art.
You're someone who has like worked with clients and all. What's one of the worst things you heard as an artist?
It's generally linked to the pricing. You see, most of them ask whether this is the best price, like it's a kade. But so that connection to the art piece will be different from each person. So I think it's very important that we respect each other's connection to a particular art piece and not judge people for it. So because each one's story is different at the end of the day, isn't it?
Welcome to the Canvas. I'm Azhar Zahid Carrim, and on today's special episode, I have someone with me who experiments with different types of mediums. She's an experimental artist, and she also works as a mural artist as well. I have with me Inam Caffoor. How are you doing today, Inam?
I'm very well, Azhar. Thank you so much for having me on this show.
No worries. So now, Inam, tell us who are you as a person? Take your time with it. Describe yourself. Who are you as a person, and what do you do?
Firstly, I am a mum. I'm a wife and a daughter. I love travel. I love food. I'm someone who has genuinely had a love for art ever since I was a child, but never in a million years did I think I was getting into it as a business when I'm at this age. But saying that, I still remember I used my creative business skills at the age of 11, 12 when I started selling handmade cars to earn some pocket money. But ever since then, I have realized that most of the decisions or the I've taken or the areas I've gone into were linked to creativity or art, whether it's interior design or graphic design. There was some connection with it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really grateful that I came here. It has been a long journey because I'm quite a procrastinator and I take time to decide on things. But I'm glad that I'm here finally.
Lovely. And if you could describe yourself in 3 personality traits, how would you describe yourself?
I would say creative, detailed, procrastinator.
Now let's talk about your art style. Well, do you have a specific art style, or how would you describe it? Or you tell me.
Okay, so my genuine art style, I would say, is linked to nature. I love experimenting with things, with media, using new techniques and textures. But saying that, since of late, I have gotten to working with a lot of interior designers and clients who want something specific for their home.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to take a small step back from my personal style, and what I do is I visit their homes and do something suitable for their interior. So it's mainly linked with interior design and art sort of thing.
And let's now talk about in terms of your favorite piece, from your collection or from whoever you worked with.
Yeah.
What is your favorite piece, or what is your favorite project?
From my personal art piece, I would say it was a piece I did on this elephant dung paper. It's a mixed media art piece of Singharaja rainforest. I like it because it was a new technique I started, and hopefully if I have exhibition, and it's a technique that I want to continue with. Where talking about clients, I can't pick one. I have had so many great clients and so many projects that I've really enjoyed, so I really can't pick one.
But maybe a top 3 or...
I'm currently doing something that is different, where it's not out on Instagram or anything yet, but I've been creating some wallpaper for a client. So I did the watercolor painting of it, and then transferred it onto a graphic media, and then they printed it on wallpaper. So that project is underway. Then probably the project I enjoyed was first ever mural project I did. It was a mountain scene, because I really thought I would not be able to do it because it was my first one, and with God's grace, I was able to complete it without any issue. Um, yeah, so that's about my main ones.
Lovely. And now we are at your lovely studio. I can see there's a lot of art, there's a lot of things going on here. What do you need what do you need when you're producing your art? You tell me,
Um,
is there it can be music or peace of mind, specific of work
So
hours? Yeah.
I need to have a headset or otherwise a speaker on at all times. I want my music, or sometimes I listen to self improvement programs on YouTube or even podcasts. But something has to be playing in the background. Additionally, I love working in the night because there's no disturbance. There's no one coming in asking for this and that. So some days I work till like even 5 in the morning. I know it's not the healthiest thing ever,
Yeah, yeah.
but with a cup of coffee and just me in the room, it's just great.
So now, Inam, I want to know, how did you get here? Like, what did you do professionally in the past, and what are you doing now?
I was actually first involved with advertising for a year, and then I did some wedding stationery and graphic design, and then moved into event planning. But then with COVID, everything changed. So I think we had to make a lot of changes in our life and then decisions. So therefore, this was not really what I planned to do. But during COVID, I sat down and I was painting quite a bit. And I started posting things online on Instagram. And then from there, I started getting requests for art. And that's how it started picking up. And then they wanted murals done. And that's what got me to where I am today. So, COVID.
So, in terms of a finance position, does art make you enough money, or how has your experience been?
Personally, I don't think I'm at that level where I feel I will earn the amount of money I want with the art that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So probably one day I will, but at the moment, no. Therefore, what I do is I work with the interior designers and clients, and I do art um, to link with their environment and their interior. So sometimes I have to sacrifice on my creative aspects, but I do touch up, give a bit of my touch as well. But it's mainly what the client wants.
Would you say that because of COVID, it was an eye opener for you to realize your potential in terms of art?
Oh, most certainly. I think COVID is what brought me here. I think without COVID, I wouldn't have had the time to spend doing my art and or posting it, and people wouldn't have ever known I do paint as much as well. So yes, definitely. As much as there was so much of negatives about it, I think everything has a positive and negative. But this was my positive from COVID.
So now let's talk about. I can see that you have a personal connection with art. So what inspired you to actually get into it? Like, how did the journey start with you and art? What's your connection? What's your relationship?
Actually, there's a lot of creative and artistic people in my family. I think the genes have really helped me in that way. And saying that, even my parents always encouraged me to be what I want. I was never restricted in going on a certain path. So I'm really grateful for that. And even today, I am always encouraged by my husband and the people around me to be who I am. And I think I've seen so many things along the way that have inspired me to be who I am and express myself in the form of art as well. So I can't really pinpoint particular thing though.
So now, for people who don't understand artists, what would you say to them?
I think art for every individual is different. No? If there's a particular piece, the connection that you have with that piece may be different to you. That connection will be different to me. It depends on my background, what I feel, what I have grown up with. So that connection to the art piece will be different from each person. So I think it's very important that we respect each other's connection to a particular art piece and not judge people for it. So because each one's story is different end of the day, isn't it?
Definitely, Inam. Now I want to ask, like, you are someone who I feel you just recently started Instagram
Yeah.
posting a lot of paintings and all. What is your like next goal? Would you ever want to open an exhibition by any chance to promote yourself?
I plan on having an exhibition. I've been trying to have it for the last 1 or 2 years, but as I said, I'm a procrastinator. So I need to double check and I worry whether it's good enough sometimes and whether I am still there yet. So I'm still collecting pieces, but hopefully someday, yes, planning on next year, but you never know whether it will be the year after next.
Hopefully in the future.
Hopefully, yes.
And now I want to know, like, you're someone who has like worked with clients and all. What's one of the worst things you heard as an artist? You don't have to mention anyone's names, but from your experiences.
It's generally linked to the pricing. See, most of them ask whether this is the best price, like it's a kade. But the thing is, a lot of them don't realize the amount of effort and time and patience that go into it. And not only that, even the raw materials, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Art is not a cheap area,
Definitely.
and people don't realize that as much. But I think you can't blame them. It's each one's perspective. But yeah, it's definitely always linked. It's something to do with pricing that really triggers me.
I agree. They always think it's just something like someone took as a hobby and
Yeah,
they haven't taken
yeah.
it as a career seriously. So now in terms of social media platforms, again, I'm mentioning Instagram because that's where I found you and your profile. And your profile is like a portfolio to showcase your art. So how did it help you? Like in your opinion, how did it help you promote yourself?
Instagram has been a great help. If I'm being honest, my Instagram profile was made by my friend a few years ago because she was forcing me to put things out on it, and I really started posting more and more during the COVID pandemic, and it has been my main source of clients. And I would recommend for any youngster or anyone who's coming up to try to post as much as they can on Instagram. I think it will help you greatly. I wish I started sooner, but at least I'm finally there.
As long
yeah.
as you started.
Yeah.
So now, any words of advice for those watching or any young artists or future artists? Any words of advice you'd like to share to them?
Do what you love. I think if you do what you love, irrespective of what anyone tells you, you will be happy. And the people around you also will be happy because you are happy. And if you can earn a few bucks along the way doing what you love, that's a cherry on top.
Thank you, Inam, for coming to this show. It was a
Thank you
pleasure
so
having
much
you.
for having me, Azhar.
No worries.
Thank you.